Hello, in this video I'll show you my step-by-step guide to editing photos when it comes to Photoshop and how you can do skin retouching and color grading for your portrait when it comes to Photoshop. So in case this is what you have always wanted to learn from, simply hit the like button and don't forget to check for the link in the description of this video to download the raw image to follow and practice along with. So this is the image that we're going to be using for this kind of tutorial. So after importing the image in Photoshop, simply create two copies from the background layer by simply dragging and dropping to the new layer icon to create two copies from the background layer. Then to rename this, double click on the name that to color. So name that to color and double click on this one to rename it to texture. So for this step, we just want to do the frequency separation. And remember, frequency separation is going to divide this very image into the colors and textures. Then come to the color layer, turn off the textures, then simply come to filter, come to blur, come to Gaussian blur, and after that take the radius slider all the way down to the minimum, and you click on an area that you feel has more prominent skin textures, and click and drag and take this slider up to the point whereby those details are just starting to disappear from the skin. So at about 7, that is when I'm just starting to close out. Let me just increase this a little bit. So at about 8, that is when I'm just starting to close out on the skin details in this prominent skin textured area. I'll click OK, select the texture layer and now activate it or turn it on. So after that, I'm just going to come right here to where you see fill image rather, and you come to apply image. So when you come to image and apply image, it is going to open up another apply image window, which is going to be having the source. The source is basically the name of the photo that you're trying to edit. Layer, select color layer. Channel has to be set to RGB. Blending, since we are editing a 16-bit image, has to be set to add. The scale is to offset 0, and simply turn on the invert option. And as soon as you do this, you'll notice the textures on this square-like kind of layer. In case you're editing an 8-bit image, in case you have 8 right here, these are settings that you have to use. Make sure after setting the layer to color, channel RGB, blending has to be subtract, the scale is to offset 128, and you'll have the same results. So for my case, we have 16-bit. I'll revert the settings to a 16-bit image. Click OK, change the blend mode from normal, change it to linear light, then select both layers and drag them into the group folder to put them into a group. Then rename this to frequency separation. After separating the image into colors and textures, you're just going to come and click on the drop down arrow and select the color layer. After selecting the color layer, simply come and briefly or turn off the texture layer. After turning off the texture layer, we're just going to come to the brushes and get the mixer brush tool. Then come to the settings. So for whichever tool you select in Photoshop, the settings are always going to display above here. So for the settings of the mixer brush tool, ensure the hardness is set to 0. Soft round brush is selected. Then clean brush is also selected. And the second option that says clean brush after each stroke is selected right here. The second option. Weight is 9%, load 75, mix is 90, flow at 100%, and make sure sample all layers is not checked. And for this, we just want to blend the transitions using the mixer brush tool. So the transitions on the skin are going to be the different areas that have or contain skin color, so that we can create a smooth transition between those colors on the skin area, and in that way we shall have perfected the colors. So for this, we just want to perfect the colors in the skin tone. So simply get the mixer brush tool, and to increase or reduce on the size of the mixer brush tool, you can use the open and close square bracket keys on the keyboard. So how to apply it? Simply click and hold down, and you move the brush in a given direction, but this direction has to follow the way the face of the subject is. So you can see I have to follow how the forehead is shaped. You can set it is curving like this. So mix and blend that given area that has a given color. So to blend this dark area, I'll just come and click once again and hold down and blend that color like that. Just like this. Like I said, mix the midtones alone, the highlights alone, and the shadows alone, and increase or reduce on the size of the mixer brush tool. You can use the open and close square bracket keys on the keyboard to reduce or increase on the size of the mixer brush tool, depending on the colors that you want to blend in a given area. So you can start to have this highlight, and in cases whereby it is creating this harsh transition between the colors, just get a very small brush by reducing on the size of the mixer brush tool, and you try to blend that transition so that it can be smooth. So for this step, we just want to blend the transition between the skin color or skin tone transitions. So right now you can see the forehead area is having or is looking a little bit plastic, and it looks as if we have lost out the textures, but I'll show you how to bring back the textures. So come to the cheek area and also blend in this direction, because the cheek is moving in this kind of direction. Just like this, you can see how simple it is to use the mixer brush tool. So you have to use a very small brush, and by the way, as you're doing all this, you don't have to zoom all the way in, because when you zoom all the way in, you can't see the uneven skin tone transitions in the image. So make sure you are retouching at a distance. And by the way, this as well helps you to edit your images faster and blend a wide area within a short period of time, and it's going to help or enable you save so much time when you're trying to retouch your photos. So use that as a trick and put that at the back of your mind. So this is what we have been able to achieve in just a short time, or within a few minutes of just blending. So when it comes to the nose, just get a very small brush and blend the shadow area on the nose area, or the dark area on the nose area like this, and follow the direction of the nose. You can see I'm following the direction of the nose just like that. You can see by just doing this, we are now having a very smooth area on that area that we have tried to blend. So when it comes to the highlight, just get a very small brush and try to blend the highlight alone. Just like this, you can see that it is also going to be perfected in this case using our mixer brush tool. So you can see how easy it is to use the mixer brush tool to blend the transitions between the skin color or skin tones. So I'll continue working on the rest of the areas that have or contain skin tones so that we don't take a longer time right here. So let me just do this quick. I hope you can see what we are achieving in this case. So I'm quickly smoothing and blending the transitions between the skin color of the subject using the mixer brush tool. So you have to take your time, because this takes a lot of practice to train the eyes to see or identify all those areas that have uneven skin color inconsistencies, and you identify them quickly and you blend them. So it is just a matter of practice. So after blending all these areas, just come back and turn on the texture layer, and you can see when we turn on the texture layer, we can still have, or we still have our skin details left intact within this very photo or within this very image. So you can see the before, after. Once you're done working on the skin colors and creating even skin tone transitions, you can as well incorporate a second technique, or you can add a second technique for the face area to fine-tune the areas that you may have missed out when you're trying to use the mixer brush tool. So just come and get the lasso tool and make sure it is set to new selection mode, and the feathering is 20 pixels and alias is selected. And for this, make sure the texture layer is now turned on, then come and make a selection. So draw, left click and hold down and move to draw or to make a selection, but keep away from the eyebrows or some of the edges and the hair of the image. Keep away from the edges of the photo that you're trying to edit. Just come back to filter, blur, come to Gaussian blur. It will bring back the initial radius that we use for our frequency separation. So simply move this radius slider towards the right hand side and stop at the point whereby you're getting a very nice and natural skin detail or skin texture. But you can as well multiply the radius that you use for your frequency separation by 3 and type in the value. So 8 by 3 is 24. I'll delete 8 and type in 24 like that. And you can see we basically have the same result. Just come and click OK. So to deselect this selection, click out from the selection, and that is going to automatically deselect that selection. So we shall come, and you can see the shapes we are making are also following the way the model's face is shaped. So just keep on making these tiny shapes just like this. Come to filter, come to blur, come to Gaussian blur. So in case the effect is too much in a given area, ensure to right click on the selection and come to fade Gaussian blur, and you can reduce on the effect in the given area. So I'll leave mine to the extreme because I want you guys to see the effect in real time. So I'll just come like this, filter, blur, come to Gaussian blur like that. So I'll take my time while doing this. Then I'll just come to the nose area. So for the nose area, only apply it on the dark areas of the nose, because when you apply it on the whole nose, it is going to make the nose look big and look flat, and is going to change the size of the nose in real time. So I'm just going to apply it in the middle of the eyebrows. So for this lasso tool step, we shall only apply it to the face area. So you can see before and after. Right now the skin has been smoothened, but we have as well retained the original or natural skin details in the model's face. So for the next step, we just want to work on the textures and perfect the textures by removing any kind of imperfections regarding skin textures, and that is pimples, blemishes, acne. So just come to the texture layer, select it, and after selecting it, come and get the clone stamp tool. The mode is set to normal, opacity and flat 100%. Align is checked, and the sample is set current layer because we want to remove blemishes that are part of the currently selected layer. So we are going to zoom in by using Command plus, or you can use Control plus on the keyboard. So for example, to remove this pimple, simply hold down the Option key on the keyboard, Option, reduce on the size, and make sure it is slightly bigger than the pimple that you want to remove. Hold down the Option key on the keyboard, alternate for Windows, Option, and click on a clean area near the pimple, and release the Option button and click once again over the pimple to cover the pimple with clean skin, and in that way the pimple is going to be eliminated from that given area. So I'm just going to take my time while trying to clear out majority of the blemishes. Remember, blemish removal is going to contribute over 50% to your overall edited image. That is why you have, or you got to take time trying to remove all these blemishes and skin imperfections from the model's skin. So I'll take my time, and as you can see, this is going to produce better and natural results regarding the overall edited image or retouched image. So take your time and use the clone stamp tool. Like I said, this really takes time to perfect. So another tip or technique that you can use is simply leave one finger just on the alternate key on the keyboard, so it can be easy for you to keep on pressing it to sample from areas near the pimple or where the blemishes are located. So I'm just going to eliminate all these skin imperfections. So I'm just going to come to the lower part and see these areas. So you can even zoom in all the way to remove a pimple that is very tiny in a given area, so that you can see and clear out any texture inconsistencies regarding the image. So to remove a line, simply click over and you drag after sampling an area, and you drag that line, or you drag over that line to try to eliminate or remove it from the model skin. So I'm just going to come to the lower part of the chin and try to remove all these imperfections and remove these scars from the model skin. So you shouldn't remove freckles, because freckles are really a beauty kind of spot on the model skin. So I'm just going to do this over these areas. So in case you missed out some areas during the skin retouching, you can come and try to blend those areas once again using the mixer brush tool. So just come to this layer, get back the mixer brush tool, and you blend these areas that you may have not worked on or perfected quite well as you're trying to use the mixer brush tool. So you have to do this, or you go back and forth. So once we are done removing the blemishes, this is what we have been able to achieve regarding the skin retouching without compromising the original and natural skin details. So you can see the before, after, before, after. After removing the blemishes, it is time to work on the colors regarding the skin tones. So how are we going to work on the colors? We are simply going to create a stamp visible layer by pressing Shift Option Command E, that is for Mac, Shift Alternate Control E for PC or for Windows. Then come to select, then come to subject in order to select the subject in this case. The reason for selecting the subject is because as we're working on the skin tones, we don't want the color to spill over to the background. That is why we have selected a boundary of the subject selection so that we don't spill our skin tone color to the background. So just come to the new layer icon and create a new layer. Then change its blend mode from normal, change it all the way down to color. Then come to the brushes, get the brush tool, and ensure for your settings, soft round brush is selected, the hardness is set to 0, the mode is set to normal, opacity at 100%, flow at 100%, and we just want to sample a color on the model's skin. So how are we going to sample the color from the model's skin? So simply hold down the option key on the keyboard, alternate for Windows, option and click, option, and you click on an area that you prefer. So after choosing that area, start painting over the model's skin. So paint like that. I know for this step, sometimes the results may not look natural and realistic, but we are going to be fine tuning that later on. So just be patient because you're going to understand every detail in this very video, and I don't want to forward anything so that you can understand and learn every basic requirement that involves skin retouching of these kinds of beauty portraits. So I'm just going to paint like this. And in case you're finding value from this video, I request that you help us to subscribe and also hit the like button on this video, because it helps you to push and recommend this video to many people who are interested in learning more about photography as you are right now. So don't be selfish, smash the like button. So I'm just going to paint like that. So as you're doing all this, keep up from painting the makeup area like the lipstick and other forms of beautification that were added onto your client or model's skin or face as a beautification process. So I'll paint like that and just paint like that. Keep away from the eyebrows as usual. After ensuring that you have painted and you're comfortable with the results that you have done to the model's skin, the next step is going to be fine-tuning this color, because this looks unnatural and doesn't look real and it is too orange. So in such an instance, this is what you have to do. Once you're done painting and you have painted some extra areas, first of all, fine-tune the colors by getting the eraser tool. The mode is set to brush opacity in the flat 100%. You can now zoom in by using Command Plus and you try to erase the color from areas that you do not want to be affected by the colors of the skin tone. So I'll just quickly erase it. And before the brush, in case you have missed out on a very crucial area in a given area. Like I said, it is time to fine tune. Once you're done erasing those unwanted areas, ensure to calm the opacity and reduce on the opacity so that the color can look a little bit realistic. And after that, press Ctrl D, or you can use Command D on the keyboard to deselect the active selection. So after that, you're just going to come and fine tune the color in case it's looking a little bit too reddish or too orange by coming to hue and saturation and simply come and target the reds, because skin tones usually lean more towards the reds or yellows. But for this case, you can see oranges and greens are close to a hue of the red. So we're just going to come to the reds under hue and saturation. So in case the skin is looking too orange, you have to move this slider towards the left hand side to add more reds. And in case the skin is looking too greenish, you can move this towards the red side. So in case it is looking too reddish, you have to move it and play around with this slider to see the color that works for you. So for this, I feel like I should make it or add a little bit of reddish skin tone, just like that, to eliminate the yellowness from the skin tone. Then after that, scroll down to our next option, which is lightness under the reds, and you're just going to simply take the lightness slider all the way down, just like that. And that is going to make the skin look better and realistic, and it's going to eliminate the amount of the oranges from our model's skin. So you can see by moving this slider, it eliminates the oranges from the model's skin, the lightness slider. So you can see before and after for just the hue and saturation, and that is a very massive kind of difference. So you're just going to come and create another adjustment layer, which is the black and white adjustment layer. Change the blend mode from normal to multiply. Remember, the multiply blend mode is always going to darken the image. So just come the opacity and reduce on the opacity to reveal back the initial lighting of this very image or this very photo. So after you have done this, the next step is simply going to be just going to come and add a selective color adjustment layer and simply come and target the blacks, because I feel like we have a little bit of a tint on the black area of the image. So just come to the cyan and simply move up the cyan slider just like this to make the blacks a little bit better and more cinematic. So this is what we have for the selective color. And you can as well add a selective color adjustment layer for the background by simply adding another selective color adjustment. Then you can come to the whites and you can play around with the colors right here under the whites to see what works best for you as a person editing. So you can even make this too white, and you can play around with the blacks to see what will work for you as the person that is doing the job of the editing. So I feel like this, I feel like this is okay. Can say before and after. So after I have done this, the next step is simply going to be calming and perfecting the image even more by whitening the eyes of the subject. So how are we going to whiten the eyes? Come and create a hue and saturation adjustment layer. Then come and make sure master is selected and take down the saturation of the image to around -77. Then invert this layer. Inverting basically means you're going to be hiding the effect behind this. Remember, when we desaturate the image, the eyes are also going to be desaturated, especially the white area, and it's going to make the white area look white. So press Ctrl I, or you can use Command I on the keyboard to invert the effect. Then get the brush tool. Ensure you have black and white on these two color swatches. So in case you don't have black and white, reset by clicking on these tiny swatches and ensure white is the top color by using this arrow key. So after this, with white as the top color, simply start painting over the white area of the eye, and that is going to whiten the eyes of the subject and remove any color that is going to be existing within the white area of the eye. So you can even as well paint on these tiny accessories just like that were added to make them look whiter, just like that, to remove any random color that may be onto those areas. So you can see by just doing this, the image has now been transformed even better. So you can see, in case the effect is too much, ensure to come the opacity and reduce on the opacity so that it can look real and realistic. So in case the skin is looking too yellowish still for your liking, you can create another hue and saturation, come to master, select the reds, and you can reduce the lightness even more so that the skin tone can look natural and a little bit more realistic. So I feel like about here it is okay. Before, after. So after you have done this, you can even add contrast to the overall image by creating a levels adjustment layer. Then you can simply come and drag the blacks in slightly and drag the whites like that. You can see before and after. So I've just added a brief contrast into the image. So you can even make the skin glow or skin shine by coming and creating a curves adjustment layer. Then come and click on this right hand pointer, drag it towards the left hand side up to when the highlights on the skin are looking overexposed. Then simply right click on this curves layer and simply come to blending options. After that, come to where you see blend if and make sure blend if is set to gray. Come to underlying layer, click on this and drag it from the shadow areas and move it towards the bright areas. But you have to stop at the point whereby only the highlights on the model's skin are affected. Then press Option for Mac, alternate for Windows, and click on this pointer on the right hand side and move this towards the right hand side so that the effect can blend well into the model skin, just like this. Then after that, just come and click OK. Then press Ctrl I, or you can use Command I on the keyboard to hide or invert the effect. Then get the brush tool, ensure white is the top color, and you can paint on the highlight areas of the model skin to create an illusion of skin glow or skin shine. So you can even paint over the lips to make the lips shine even more, just like that. So I don't feel like I should paint on this highlight because it already looks too much, but in case you want paint on it, reduce on the flow of the brush and simply paint on that, just like that. So this is how you can add skin glow. So for the effect to look natural, ensure to come the opacity and reduce on the opacity so that the effect can look natural and realistic, just like this. So we are going to see the overall before and after for the skin retouching and color grading of this very image. So this was the image initially before, and this is the after, before, after, before, after. So hoping you have learned a lot from this very wonderful and insightful video. So in case you want to save the image to avoid any color change issues, simply come to File, Export, come to Export As, and it's going to open up the Export As window right here in Photoshop, and ensure the format is set to JPEG, quality to the maximum, which is 7 for this case, resample set to bicubic sharper, and simply come to color space. Make sure it is set to convert to sRGB and embed color profile. Make sure these two are checked and click on export, and you can save your edited image in whatever location that you choose. So this is how you can edit and color grade a photo using frequency separation and some simple color grading techniques. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to keep practicing and as well keep creating.